Greetings and welcome to the Fan Perspective. I'm your host Nathan Lyle, and this is NBA Weekly, the show where once a week I recap all of last week's action in the association and talk about some of the things that to look forward to. And then some of the things that happened. On Wednesday, Coach Popovich of the Spurs, he ended up missing the game because he had to undergo a medical procedure. And the assistant, Ettore Messina, he was the acting coach, becoming the first European-born coach to ever lead a team during the regular season. And he was also there on Friday, and the Spurs have a 4-game road trip coming up, and from what I understand, there's even a possibility that Pop might not be there for that too. I don't know yet. Don't quote me on that. And Black Friday, was an awesome day for the league as some of the top players returned to action. Russell Westbrook returned to the lineup, easily led the Thunder to victory. Don't forget, it was his hand that was broken, not his legs. His explosiveness was never in question. And David West of the Pacers played in his first game of the season, and they grabbed a win. And you know what? The Pacers have played pretty well, considering that for at least a few games this season, they lost their entire starting lineup from last year. Stevenson went to another team. West and Hill and Paul George have not played at all this season until now. West just played his first game, and even Hibbert has been missing time with injuries. So considering just how banged up they are, this team has played pretty well to not be winless like the 76ers. And then Derrick Rose, he returned to action on Friday, and the Bulls grabbed a win against the Celtics. And you know what? The Celtics have been a relatively good team. They've been fighting a lot of the top clubs, and they're usually losing by less than 10 points. They're in the fight. They just can't get over the hump. I wouldn't be shocked if they managed to sneak their way into the playoffs. I don't expect it, but I wouldn't be shocked. And right now, the Memphis Grizzlies are still undefeated at home at 8-0. And their best road team in the league, Golden State Warriors, who are all 8-1 when they're playing away from their own stadium. But there are a couple other teams who only have one road loss, but they only have like 4 and 5 wins. And the Blazers, they had won 9 consecutive games until they lost to Memphis on Friday. So now the Spurs have the longest active winning streak at 8 straight games, and the longest losing streak, the 76ers, who are 0-15 on the season. And a few career milestones that some guys have made. Paul Pierce, he now has more career points than Jerry West, moving into 17th on the all-time list. And LeBron James has made more career field goals than Charles Barkley and only needs 21 more to pass AI for 25th on the all-time list. Jamal Crawford has made more three-pointers than Dale Ellis, moving into 10th place on the all-time list. Dirk Nowitzki has hit 1,500 three-pointers. LeBron James has now attempted more free throws than Patrick Ewing, moving into 24th place on the all-time list. And Chris Paul has more career assists than Jerry West, moving into number 25 on the all-time list. And he's going to keep going, man. This guy's averaging double-digit assists this year. And a few games to look forward to next week. And in case you haven't noticed, I'm not telling you every single game that's being played, just the ones that look most competitive to me, at least just on paper. And on Saturday, all of these games seem iffy for me, so I think I'm going to choose the Pelicans at Wizards. And then Sunday, Spurs at Celtics. The duel between Rondo and Parker might be worth it. And if DeMarcus Cousins is healthy, I'd also watch the Grizzlies at the Kings. Cousins missed Friday's game, but it was just an illness. He woke up not feeling well. So, he might be fine for Sunday. Who knows? Then on Monday, none of these two things are really impressive me. I guess I'll take Heat at Wizards. Despite how well Bosh has been playing, he's fought hard all season. The Heat are third in their division, barely above 500 right now. Then on Tuesday, you got a lot of good games. Mavs at Bulls. Healthy or not, the Bulls have a strong roster. They're finding ways to win games. Then you've got the Thunder at the Pelicans. Westbrook return makes them a scary team again. And then Blazers at Nuggets. The Nuggets, they've started surging. They're almost back to 500. They're second in the division. So let's see how they do against the leaders of the division, the Blazers. And then you got the Pacers at the Suns, and I think being a little bit healthier does make the Pacers a little bit better team, but are they good enough to be one of the better teams in the West? People aren't talking about the Suns enough. Then on Wednesday, you've got the Grizzlies at the Rockets, and if Howard returns, it'll be a good matchup. Otherwise, I'd expect another Memphis win. Then on Thursday, you've got Pacers at Blazers, and as the Pacers keep getting healthier, they'll keep playing better, and it seems like they play harder against the better teams. I mean, it's weird. They'll lose to shitty teams, but then they'll beat the playoff contenders. And then you've also got Pelicans and Warriors. Some of the most exciting young players in the game are in this matchup. And then on Friday, it's another 12-game night. The only one I even care about is going to be Spurs at Grizzlies. And for me, easily game of the week, because ever since what happened all those years ago when we were the 1 seed and they were the 8, this has been a team that I always look forward to us playing. We've kind of controlled that. We've controlled it since then, and so this is going to be... It won't be an easy fight, though. The Grizzlies are at the top of the West. And yes, fight is the correct word to use in this situation. Well, that's it for this edition of the Fan Perspective. That's it for this edition of NFL Weekly, NBA Weekly. Tune in next week for another edition of NBA Weekly. And that's it for... I'm your host, Nathan Nile. This is the Fan Perspective. Have a great weekend.